Hi, everybody. Good Tuesday evening to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. It's Tuesday. I know it's not a typical day. We seem to be doing this with these bigger storm systems. This one's massive, and there's a lot of national attention around it. So, my job is to kind of sort out the noise for you to let you know what you can expect because we're hearing about blizzard out west, massive windstorm with this severe weather component. Where do we lay in all this, right? Where does Northwest Indiana kind of come into play with this storm system? So that's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk a lot about it, kind of on a scientific geek out level, if that's okay. Stay as long as you like. Again, the whole goal is to get you prepared and out the door for tomorrow because that's when the storm system is really going to start to move in across the region. We'll talk about that after we run our open. So let's talk our open first. We'll do that, and then we'll talk about some extracurricular stuff, okay? All right, all in this special Tuesday evening edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome in, everybody. Our early birds, Jeff's with us, Ann's with us, Deb, Mark, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us, guys, on your Tuesday. This is really just a fascinating meteorological storm system to track. It's so cool. And what's really neat about it is there's webcams all over the country now, right? Technology over the years, everything's online, right? There's some really cool webcams out west that you can just log into and look at and kind of live vicariously through this storm as it moves out towards the east. I am addicted to a Jackson Hole, Wyoming webcam, and they just got real good snow there over the last 24 hours. So I'm kind of waiting for that because we haven't had any snow. So that's that. Ruth, hello to you. Eric's with us. Good evening, Gail. Thanks for joining us. Jill's with us as well. So thank you guys very much. Quickly want to thank our sponsors. You see them right here on this side of the screen. Tiger Plumbing. Best plumbers in Northwest Indiana. It's tigerplumbing.net. Ewing Mechanical Services. It's Ewing MECH on Facebook and also online. They do everything inside your house you could possibly need. We've had some great reviews back from them already, from some of you that have used them for heating, cooling, all sorts of stuff. They've got a great deal on a new furnace package now. It's their tax return sale, so check them out. Discovery Travel, if you want to get down to the warmer weather in Texas, the Gulf Coast, Florida, don't plan a trip yourself. Don't use Expedia, stuff like that. Use your local travel agency. They'll find you the best deal. It'll save you money versus you doing it online on your computer. Discovery Travel, TRVL, online there.com. Grigor's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, our favorite car dealership in Northwest Indiana, and also St. Jude House, which they are doing wonderful work in the region. Please help me continue to get the word out on their mobile advocacy program that they just started in February. It's been a huge success. Again, domestic violence, not something fun to talk about, but they are there to help those in Northwest Indiana that are victim of that. And the mobile advocacy program, they'll come meet you or whoever it is, wherever you could possibly want in a public place to get you to a safe place. Awesome work. Okay, let's dive into this system, all right? I want to show you you can just see it here on the map. This goes from areas of Idaho, okay, and Montana, all the way out into Texas. And the reason why there's two streams to this, there's two different areas. You've got the subtropical jet right here where my mouse cursor is. It's just screaming off the Pacific. So that's bringing the moisture into the system. And then you've got the system itself, which is way back towards the west. You can see a little circulation there. That's the area of low pressure. There's another one that's going to develop out in the plains tomorrow. It's kind of in two waves. But that's how big this system is as it comes together because it's got two major components of energy coming into it. The first is that subtropical jet. The other one's the actual area of low pressure coming out of the Pacific Northwest. So those two things combined are creating quite the system. You're probably hearing about it nationally with all the snow and everything going on out west. And that certainly is, it's not overhyped. I really don't think it is. This is a big one. So here's what it looks like, at least on the national scale right now. Heavy snow is breaking out. They've had some snow in Wisconsin and Minnesota, but heavy snow has been breaking out in the Rockies Utah getting hit hard, areas of Colorado. There's wind with this. There's also blizzard warnings for a good chunk of areas out west as well. They've got rain all the way down into California and Arizona. And then out ahead of it with that subtropical component, that's the part we're going to deal with tomorrow. And then we'll deal with kind of the backside of this, the area that's in the Rockies. Now, we'll deal with that on Thursday, but it's not what you think. We're not going to see the snowy side of this at all. It's actually going to warm us up as the low pressure kind of moves in. So here's what we're thinking, at least on a local scale. We're going to spend some time on this map. We'll look at all the different variables here, and we'll kind of get you through it. But this is what we can expect tomorrow. Again, this system is moving in tomorrow. We've got light wind tonight that will slowly start to pick up towards daybreak tomorrow as the system evolves and starts to move in. Our problem tonight is our temperatures, they're going to be cold, right? We're already down to 31 in Valpo. We'll likely get down into the upper 20s before temperatures start to rise as that wind picks up, all right? So as that wind picks up, it'll start to transport warmer air in here, but it's going to take its time. So the problem is tomorrow morning, and we mentioned this on Sunday night, this right here, moisture is going to start to develop as the slow moves in. This is 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. This is your morning rush hour. All right. We have that cold air in place that's exiting, but I think some surface temperatures are still going to be at freezing or just above. And I mean, just a couple spots. Most of us should be above freezing for that morning rush, but there could be some pockets where we're still at 32, 33 degrees and we're still cold from that cold night that we're having tonight, right? So it's all going to be rain that's getting thrown into this. But the problem is if we have some surfaces that are still 32 degrees, some of that rain could freeze. So the raindrop will fall because we've got warm air up above us. So warm air comes in up above, right? Warm air is lighter. So that's why it comes in up above. The cold air is heavy and dense. That's why we're still cold here at the surface. Everything kind of warms during these systems from the top down because that warm air, remember, it's lighter, it's more buoyant, it's up above. So what that warm air layer is up above us, it takes the snowflake, it melts it into raindrops. And if we're still cold down here at the surface, that raindrop still is a raindrop when it hits the ground. And if the surface is below freezing or at freezing, it will freeze and turn to ice. That's your freezing rain. So there's a small chance for some freezing rain to mix in tomorrow morning. It'll likely be mixed in with rain. It'll be kind of a little bit of kind of hodgepodge on the radar tomorrow morning where some spots are just seeing rain. Some of you are seeing freezing rain. There might be some sleet mixed in as well. The most important thing you can do tomorrow is to check the temperature in your location wherever you're driving. Car thermometers are awful, except for this time of year, they're very helpful. So if you're driving tomorrow morning, it's 34, 35, 36 degrees, and it's raining, you should be just fine. If it's 32, even 33 degrees, and it's raining, just be careful for some ice, okay? We're not expecting a lot of ice. This could just be a little glaze, and that's all it causes. But again, that morning rush hour, that's what we have to watch. There's not a winter weather advisory. This isn't a huge deal. It's just a local heads up from your local weather guy about we could have a couple slick spots tomorrow morning. Good news is that we're going to quickly become all rain. I think 9, 10 o'clock, there's not even a chance of ice around here. The major ice storm with this goes up into Michigan. So Michigan, southern areas of Wisconsin are going to get hit pretty hard with some ice, especially Michigan. We're going to turn rain at this point. It's not going to be a pretty day tomorrow. We're going to be on the colder side of this system as the warm front's down to the south. You see the isobars here? This indicates that strong area of low pressure. See where they kind of ripple out here? See how they kind of ripple through areas just north of Indianapolis? That is where the warm front is because you've got a wind shift there, right? So the wind's from the southeast, and that's where we're going to stay for much of the day tomorrow. But if you get south of this warm front, it's from the southwest. This is where the real warm air is going to be. This is where kind of the cold, raw conditions are going to be. But again, it could be a lot worse. Off towards the north with the ice storm, we talked about that in Michigan. You get north of that, it's constant snow in northern Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and it's going to snow for 2 days straight up there, heavy at times. And on top of that, you've got strong wind. So it's really going to get messy. It's not going to be one of those snows where we're like, oh, man, I wish that was hitting us. This is one of those that's going to shut down interstates. It's going to be really nasty travel because of the wind component to this. There's going to be widespread wind with this system up in the snowy area of this storm, 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour. Just not pretty. On top of that, there's Arctic air that's going to be spilling into the upper Midwest. So just, again, nasty, nasty storm. It's not going to be very kind to travelers out there. The other thing I brought up in one of our newscasts tonight was the fact that, you know, there's a lot of commercial traffic that obviously goes through the Midwest, I-80, I-94 through Michigan. And that's they're going to have some problems getting goods to different places. So let's say you ordered something on Amazon yesterday. Hopefully it'll come from a local Amazon hub, but if it doesn't, or if you ordered anything else, there's a chance that that is not going to make it on time because of the storm system and how far reaching it is. So just keep that in mind. All right. So as we go through time tomorrow, again, we're talking all rain here. That's great. It's going to be raw though. It doesn't look too windy tomorrow. We'll have some gusty winds, but by and large, the strongest winds are going to be to our north and to our south. As we get into tomorrow evening, this is when the first kind of wave of low pressure moves through us. This is actually tomorrow afternoon into the evening. And I think we get a wave of some heavy rainfall around here. I would not be surprised if we had some thunderstorms with this. I'll show you in a second kind of what the radar is going to look like. This is the precip type that I have pulled up. But just kind of a rainy, raw day tomorrow. Temperatures will try to make their way up, but they're not going to be very successful until tomorrow evening. Some of us will get into some warmer air. I'll show you that too. But thunderstorm chance late tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then watch how this clears out. So this is low, kind of the wave of low pressure number 1, and that's going to head out towards the east. And then we fall into this kind of quiet period while we wait for low pressure number 2. This is actually the bigger storm, but low number 1 took all the moisture with it. So we fall into this really unique spot, which I really haven't seen happen a whole lot, with 2 strong low pressures together, where on Thursday, we're going to have mild temperatures, at least to start, and we're going to have some sunshine. We're in the middle of this big storm system, and this whole area right here is likely going to have sunshine, and it'll be dry. Meanwhile, miles to the north, there's heavy snow and wind up in the areas of northern Michigan, northern Wisconsin, and areas of Minnesota as well. So we really luck out with this storm system, folks. We're going to get a lot of rain tomorrow. Don't get me wrong with that. But in terms of the scale of impacts that this storm system's causing from East Coast to West Coast, we're not in a bad spot. We're really not. And Thursday's not going to be half bad of a day. Again, we'll start on the mild side, and then as this low finally curls by, that wind will quickly pick up. We'll have pretty light wind during a time on Thursday, and then I think afternoon, actually probably midday through afternoon, we'll really pick up a gusty wind out of the northwest, and then our temperatures will start to dive. But Thursday doesn't look bad at all. If you are traveling, I know we have a lot of travelers that follow region weather, whether it be truck drivers, delivery drivers, whatever it happens to be. We're going to encounter problems across the Great Lakes. From here south, we're okay. From here east, we should be okay as long as you're staying on the toll road. We should be all right. If you're heading up I-94 in Michigan, that's where it's going to turn really messy tomorrow. If you're getting up into Chicago, we should be okay. North of Chicago, that's where we start to get into a mess. Once we get up, around the state line there, you get into Racine, we're talking snow. And then it becomes heavy snow as you get up towards the Madison area, Milwaukee as well, and then further north, even worse. So that's kind of where we fare in terms of the travel. But this is the system, what it looks like. Again, moisture comes in tomorrow morning, perhaps a little ice initially, and then it would go away quickly, which is great news. We turn rain, and then we watch this little area of perhaps some thunderstorms come through tomorrow afternoon into the evening. And then eventually that will head out, and we kind of dry out as the system moves through and continues its thing off towards the north. All right, I want to show you the radar, then I want to show you temps real quick. This is what the radar will probably look like. This takes precip out of it. And notice the heavier rain we have coming in, moderate to heavy at times throughout the day tomorrow. And then here's that line tomorrow afternoon of perhaps some thunderstorms in here that could have some gusty winds. Storm Prediction Center has areas just down to our south and west under a marginal risk. So bottom line, there's a chance that some of these storms could be severe as you get further southwest of us. I don't see much of a severe threat here. Could see some gusty winds with some of these, though, as they move through, because that jet stream is going to be gliding through here. But a real interesting system for sure. And again, once that last batch of rain is out of here tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we should be fairly dry after that. But we are going to be talking a good amount of precip in here. So in terms of precip, these numbers have come up a little bit. This morning and actually Sunday, I wasn't too impressed. I thought we'd see maybe up to an inch or so. But because that line of thunderstorms or whatever it is works through, that's kind of newer on the modeling. We could be talking an inch or two. So we could be dealing with some short-term flooding problems around here, especially depending on how that second wave works out. All right, last thing I want to show you here before we answer your questions and get you on your way here tonight, as I always like to say, is the temperatures. Here we are tonight. Notice how we chilled down right there. We're in the 30 degree, maybe some 29s out there tonight. And look at all this warm air down to the south. It's spring-like south of us. And watch how tomorrow morning, this is when the precip works in. We're just getting above freezing. So that's why we may have some freezing rain or sleet initially tomorrow morning. And then again, towards the afternoon, we're fine. We're in the upper 30s and just nasty rain. Here's where our line of storms comes in right there. We're still in the 30s. Meanwhile, down to the south, if you're going down towards Indianapolis tomorrow, it's going to be 50s to near 60. Very warm air just south of us. That's why we would get those storms. It's right along a frontal boundary. And then tomorrow night, temperatures kind of stay in the 30s and rise a little bit. And then here's our little peak in temps here as this low pressure has yet to move in. You see the cold air digging in. Will likely be in the 40s to near 50 on Thursday. We miss out on the really warm air. It's going to stay just south of us, but we're also missing out on the cold and the ice. So there's that as well. And then you can see how Thursday afternoon, we go from near 50 in the morning, and then temperatures will kind of fall back in the afternoon, probably back into the 30s by evening. So Thursday will feature temperatures that kind of do this all day. All right. So that's where we are right now in terms of the system. We'll turn it back on the precip type and let it run. So you can kind of see how the storm system evolves. And as always, we'd be happy to answer your questions if you guys have anything. Let's see what we've got here. Let's see. Ryan and Melanie are both tired of cleaning up puppy paws. Oh, it is that sweet time of year, my friends. I know. It's, you just can't win because we get the snow to melt and we're happy, but then it's muddy. And then the dogs find that, and obviously it's just, the house just give it up. The house will become very muddy, and that's just something we accept probably till midsummer. So there's that. Let's see. Fred asked a good question. Any surprises that we're looking at a couple weeks down the road? You had your eyes on this one for a while. Fred, we did, for sure. This one showed up on the modeling, and it was just so consistent that we couldn't not have our eyes on it. I don't see anything down the road that's huge. I'll show you what kind of what I've been watching here. In terms of the forecast today, I'll go back to it. This is a national level, so I'll show you this. So this system goes by, and then we kind of quiet down briefly this weekend. This has been the same pattern the last 3 weeks where we have active weather Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's cold, and then the weekend's fine. So that's kind of where we're going to go. There's a little system that's going to slip through here this weekend. It's not a big deal, but it may bring some light snow to the area. But then there's your quiet weather Saturday, Sunday. And then this is the next system to watch. And this is agreeing on all the models as well. This isn't a big deal. It's a strong low. It's going to happen next Sunday night into Monday. We'll likely get rain and some wind with this one. But that's all I see with this. I don't see any, ice threat or snow or anything like that. It's a big wind maker and a rain maker, maybe with a rumble of thunder even on Monday. And then that goes by. That'll be a bigger deal for the Northeast. I know they're all talking about that, how they might actually get snow out there. But then we're quiet again. And then we'll have to keep an eye on whatever this is. But this is not agreed upon in the modeling. And this happens next Thursday, Friday. Some kind of low pressure. Again, as of right now, it looks like we're on the warmer side of that. Once you know it. Unbelievable the way this winter's gone so far. Everything is just tracked north of us. If you're wondering where winter is, travel up to Minneapolis. They're already 1 to 2 feet in Minnesota above average for the winter, and they're going to get slammed again. Wisconsin's already above average as you get north in the state. That's where every system has gone this winter. The western U.S. obviously has gotten a big winter as well. So winter has not gone absent. For the eastern half of the country, we have just been on the mild side of everything as its patterns remain really consistent. So that's that. Let's see. Russ, it's okay. I won't show that you misspelled a lot of words. That's okay. I have fat fingers, and so when I'm typing, I tend to type a bunch of things. Let me see. I could try to translate this. Do you think most of the surfaces will dry up during the day Thursday so we can watch ice forming Thursday night? That's a great question, Russ. I do think most surfaces, especially with the wind gusts, we're going to get windy around here Thursday. I do think surfaces are going to dry up. I don't think we're going to have to worry about a lot of ice around here once the temperatures come back down. That's a great question. Dave, I can't tell you to take the plow off yet, but boy, we're getting close, buddy. We really are. Again, don't sleep on a big wet snow coming through here sometime. As of right now, we're looking into March, all right? But it's certainly possible. Ruth asked a good question. Any chance of southward movement? So sad we're missing all the great snow. I know, Ruth. It's been the struggle bus around here to get some snow. There's not a chance of southward movement. And if there is chance of southward movement, it wouldn't affect us at all. We're not... When we talk about the track of a low, and how important that is, it's really important if we're towing the line between rain, sleet, freezing rain, and snow. If we're towing the line between those, then that north-south movement really matters. But in this case, we're going to be firmly entrenched in rain tomorrow afternoon. The only thing of concern is, again, that tomorrow morning time frame where we're going to start cold from tonight's low and warm up. That we have some frozen surfaces where the rain's falling on it, we get some ice. That would be my only concern. That if anything were to change, that would be impactful for us. It'd be maybe our temperatures drop instead of to 30 or 29 tonight, maybe to get down to 27, 28 degrees. That would make a bigger difference tomorrow morning in terms of that warming, where it take us an hour or two longer to warm, and we may have a little bit more ice around. But I don't see that happening as of right now. Andrew's talked about his snowblower. He bought a new snowblower this year, and because he bought a snowblower, he should have told me this first of all. But whenever you buy a snowblower, you don't get snow. I mean, this is the reason why our winter's been warm, because of Andrew. But he is now ready to sell a snowblower. I would say, just if someone wants to buy Andrew's snowblower, just keep it in the waiting. Like, sell it, Andrew, and then just whoever takes it, don't put it in your house. If you guys want snow, just keep the snowblower out of the homes, okay? So that's that. Let's see. Steve brings up a good point. He says winter is over for the East, northern New England, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Steve, I don't know if you're asking the question or saying that. Is where winter is. I see that. Steve, no, you're not done out, and I imagine that's where you're at. You're watching on our YouTube channel, which is a little bit more national thinking, which is fine. I don't think so, Steve. This next system, you're going to get hit by this one in northern New England, but again, it's rain for all the major hubs. But next week, on Monday, there looks to be a decent system that slides across, and it looks like it develops more on the eastern lakes, which is different than this winter. I think you get some good snow next week, Steve, for areas up there. Let's see. Chad says, how will it be for my wife's drive from Chesterton to South Bend at 6 a.m. tomorrow? Chad, it should be okay. Again, we could have a couple slick spots tomorrow morning. It would be, let me stop this here. It would be right in here. And again, not saying this model is truth right here. This is the most accurate model I want to show you. But you can see tomorrow morning, this is 6 a.m. right here, where we've got some rain mixing in with freezing rain and sleet. It won't last long, but the 6 a.m. time frame is the time when that would be happening. By 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we're mixing in with rain. We're fine. So just have her keeping her eye on that car thermometer. Again, if it's at freezing or below and she's driving in rain, more than likely that is freezing up on untreated surfaces. So I'm sure INDOT is going to be on it. I hope everything's salted tomorrow. It should be okay. But there's not a lot of pre-treatment they can do when there's a lot of rain coming either. It just washes away. But Chad, that would be the only time I would have a little bit of concern. It's not a huge concern, but just have her just be careful tomorrow morning in case some of that is freezing rain. Court says the 1 year I want snow in February is a disappointment. You're pulling out your fishing rods, Court. That's funny. I know. And it's funny because I'm a big fan of snow. But now that we're into late February, I just kind of don't want it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like, I'm ready for spring now. I'm ordering seeds online, and I'm ready to plant and get that stuff going. So kind of interesting how, the mindset changes. January, it's fine. Bring on the snowstorm. Early February, it's fine. But now it's like, okay, let's get spring going. I don't know where you guys fall in that. Amanda says, love your family in the background. Oh, you're so sweet. My goodness, Amanda. What a nice comment. I really appreciate that comment. That's very nice of you, for sure. Yeah. So this is my work family in the background, and they're equally as family. I spend as much time with them as I do my other family, but I appreciate that for sure. Russ commenting on Andrew's problem with the snowblower there, for sure. Cindy, thank you very much. I appreciate that on the Facebook side of things. Thank you. Luann says, thanks for the update. There you go. Andrew, you're welcome. I appreciate your kind words. That's good. I'm glad you're getting the pool ready to go there, buddy. Yeah. Steve, you're right. Last couple winters, man, this snow has not stuck around. And I'm old enough to say I remember winters where the snow would stick around for much of the winter. So, yeah, I mean, we're certainly warming. Does this lead to more water vapor in the atmosphere, though, we've had record snowfalls up in Canada for the last 3 falls. So it is snowing more. Does that end up cooling us off more? It's interesting. But yeah, keep in mind, climate does this, right? How much we are impacting that, that's, the big question, the big debate. But, we're certainly, it certainly has been warmer last, 10, 15 years or so. And we're starting to notice it now. It doesn't mean it can't turn around, though. Again, I mentioned the record snowfall in North America and in Canada over the last couple falls, which gets things going. They've got buried up there because there is more water vapor in the atmosphere and it's still cold up there. So, does that end up, again, cooling things more? As they get more and more snowpack every year and we go back? I mean, who knows? But this winter's been really interesting. The Western U.S. has had so much snow. So we can't say it's not snowing. We can't say winter didn't show up. It's just the have and the have-nots this year for sure. And it's been very consistent. Stephanie, I don't see, you're just hopping on and that's okay. I don't see anything else potential snow-wise through the weekend. Next week, we've got a couple systems to watch, but as of right now, we're much like this one, barely in the rain, but we're going to be on the rainy side of things. So we'll keep our eye on next week. Still a couple stronger storm systems going through, but this is by and large the biggest one so far. Adrian just joined too. So Adrian, real quick, just to give you guys a recap, because I know a lot of people in and out with this, but this storm system is going to start to come in tonight. We're going to start cold tomorrow morning. So surface temperatures are going to be at or below freezing early in the morning, like 4, 5, 6. We're going to throw some rain on that. So we may have some slick spots tomorrow morning, but surface temperatures will come up 35, 36, 37 degrees pretty quickly. So that would turn everything over to rain. So we're talking rain tomorrow, an inch or two of rainfall. And it's going to come in a couple waves. We've got the chunk in the morning, and then it'll probably consistently be on and off with some heavier bursts from now and then. And then tomorrow afternoon, this is the big kahuna that comes in with the actual wave number 1. That could have some thunder with it, some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. So bottom line, just kind of in a recap, a rainy, raw day tomorrow, just kind of nasty. That all clears out. Storm system's still with us, but wave 1 took everything with it, so there's not much left over. So we'll probably see some sun on Thursday. Temperatures will start warm, 50-ish, and then they'll go down throughout the day as we bring in a gusty northwest wind. And I didn't show you guys wind gusts. Let me show you that real quick. This is the latest wind gust forecast. Really 2 waves with the wind here. Here's tomorrow. You can see how we get a little gusty wind in here. Nothing noteworthy in terms of wind warning or anything like that, but breezy tomorrow. And then wave 2 will be a little bit gustier right there. That's Thursday with the colder air working in the afternoon. Gusts 35, 40 possible. And that could change up a little bit depending on the strength of the low. But overall, nothing crazy in terms of the wind, but it will be breezy. This is a wind maker for sure. Mary, you're welcome. I hope that helps, Adrian. Rob, you're welcome as well. Adri, you're welcome. Steve says Minnesota 1 to 2 feet of snow. Snow meaning should book a flight to Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's going to get a good snow from this. They deal with that all the time, though. Although this one, Steve, would be Minneapolis, at least, it would be their biggest snowfall. If they get over a foot, I think it'd be their biggest single day snowfall in February ever. So they typically don't get this much moisture that far north. So this is, they have drier snows this time of year still. It's tough to get a good snowstorm in Minneapolis this time of year, and this is certainly going to be a good snowstorm. Reason why there's 2 waves to it. This isn't just one low going through. It's one and then another, and both of them keep the snow going up there, so kind of different. All right. Okay. I guess that answers everyone's question. I've seen a lot of thanks, so that tells me that you're satisfied. So we'll go from there. All right, guys. I appreciate you joining me here tonight. Have a good night. And we'll be obviously on the radio side of things tomorrow morning, keeping you updated. And we'll have posts on regionweather.com as well. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon.